Why?
CIC stuff.
Jesus.
Well, want to check your clock setting ability here, Mr. Mayor. How close are you?
1 minute.
Close, it's right
1
on.
minute. You're right on. Okay. Is that
Not so
Greenwich?
much me, it's a battery.
Is that Greenwich Mean Time?
These batteries are wonderful.
There you go, Mr. Burkett.
Okay, you're there. All right. Ready on the right, ready on the left. Greenville City Council will come to order. Ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Rogers,
Here.
Schmidt, Whitaker,
Here.
Wright,
Here.
Baumgartner,
Here.
Ely, here, Godwin.
Here.
Ask you all stand for the pledge of the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Approval of minutes. You all received copies of the last meeting's minutes via email. Excuse me, are there any additions or corrections? If there are none, they will stand approved as presented. Approval of the current financial report. You've all received again copies of that from the auditor's office, both the long and short version. I get that one that's like 36 pages long. I think that comes out, but excuse me. So is there a motion to approve the current financial report?
So move.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to approve the current financial report. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Okay, I have a couple of, under approval of the agenda, couple of corrections to make on the agenda. Under ordinances and resolutions, under item number 1, it says given its first and second readings by title only, scratched by title only, just given its first and second readings. It was actually title and summary that was read. And down on item number 6, that in connection with the 2021 Veteran Energy Delivery Gas Lateral Replacement Project. So it's 2021. And, excuse me, under old business, the ordinance was by title and summary that was tabled on March the 2nd. And additionally, I have a request for an executive session at the conclusion of council, of the call of council regarding codified or not codified ordinance, or Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22G4, which is, as a short one, I will read it. Preparing for, conducting, or reviewing negotiations or bargaining scenarios, sessions with public employees concerning their compensation or other terms and conditions of their employment. And other than that, that's all I have.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Motion from Mr. Godwin to approve the agenda as amended. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Okay. Now, first of all, we have a first since about a year ago, almost. We have not silhouettes. We have live people in the audience. So thank you all for coming. And we still have some folks attending via the Zoom session. So again, you're all more than welcome. This is a portion of what we call the public hearing, or time for anyone wishing to address council on matters may do so. If you're Zooming, I don't know how to call on you individually, or even if you want to comment. If you're a member of the audience, we would ask that you please come and stand at the podium so the microphone can pick up your voice and not speak from where you sit. So if anyone wishes to address council, please come to the podium, give your name and address, and state what you need to state.
I'm going to apologize now for those of you that heard me during the planning and zoning. I am giving exactly the same speech, but I think it's very important for council to hear this. Hello, my name is Hillary Holzaffel, 116 East 3rd Street, Final Bow, and 829 Harrison Avenue is my home address. And I'm here to address an adjacent proposed building use by the Darke County Courts. In what has been presented by Judge Hine to the county commissioners, the court would like to establish a law office at 331 South Broadway, currently the Chills Building. Their primary purpose for doing so is just and within reason, as well as conforms to the specific uses in the district. However, it was also stated that they wished to use this location to conduct classes for current and former substance abusers, people sentenced for violent offenses, and those convicted of sexual assault, amongst others. Due to the nature of our program, containing 364 active students, we are extremely concerned for the livelihood of our business. While we acknowledge that nothing has been proposed to the city as of yet, what we have gathered in our discussion to date is what the city feels there is nothing that they can do to prevent this from occurring. Why? Why are we as business owners, the livelihood of your downtown, held to such a high standard to remediate historical buildings and conduct business appropriate for the district as determined by the zoning ordinance or planning and zoning commission, when the courts can locate something so detrimental right next door to us that will threaten our ability to survive? This use is not specified as permitted by the zoning ordinance, and in the email I sent to city officials dated Thursday, March 11th, I provide my opinion as to why. Having gone through the process of establishing a business in Greenville now 3 times, 2 of which are in the downtown enterprise, I feel I am very familiar with the process to establish occupancy and zoning compliance. We want to, if nothing else, make the commission and city officials aware of this project, and our strong oppositions to its applications are hopefully filled out to use this building. Everyone on the commission is either elected by their constituents or appointed by elected officials. And as your constituents, we want to express our position and to ensure that you have our best interests at heart. We have invested a great deal into the community and take pride in what we have created, and do not want to sit idly as something so potentially detrimental threatens our businesses. I have a few questions for you to consider before making a decision. Will people seeking treatment receive room and board and stay overnight for short or extended periods? If so, how many at one time? What staff would stay with them? What controls, if any, on leaving the facility will be in place? What safeguards will you have in place for ensuring that no drug use occurs on the premises? What rules will you have in place concerning drinking, noise, visitors, and so forth? Will the population receiving treatment consist of current drug users? If patients do not stay overnight, how frequently will they be visiting this facility? If non-residential, how many different patients will be expected to travel to the facility each day? What experience does the county have in operating similar facilities? What kind of conflicts will neighbors have that they experienced in other locations similar to this? And do you foresee any complications arising between the nature of this rehabilitative facility in association with the recently adopted DORA by you guys as the council? Thank you.
Thank you. I just might note, I was not able to step in on the zoning and planning meeting prior because it was pretty much a full house. But right now, as far as I know, there is nothing before this city to consider on any avenue of this endeavor by the Dark County courts. So to us to try to answer your questions would be purely speculative and really inappropriate because I don't know. I don't know if the law director or the mayor knows. Do you, Mr. Mayor?
No, there's nothing specific that we know of that we can address.
Okay.
Just that we particularly don't like it, but that's not, we can't go on anything like that. So
I'm sure if this council so chooses, it's up to the voting members of this council, but they could prepare a letter of opposition, if you will, for whatever good that might do, stating, our concerns as well, if this council wants to do that. And I leave that option open and ask the guidance of the law director on that one too.
Yeah, no, a letter stating council's position on the issue is well within your abilities.
I would be really in favor of that. I have 7 properties within a block from where this is potentially going, and I live 2 blocks from there. I was notified today that I'm losing one of my tenants because of some of the things going on downtown, not just this, but other things. And I've got another one of my tenants says if it does happen, they're moving. So I already have 1 empty building that's been sitting for 8 months, not rented. Now I potentially have 3 more, not 2 more. So I think we need to send Mr. Hine a message that we don't want this here. And it's going to be not just my property is going to be going empty, but I'm sure there's other properties that it's going to be vacated if this goes in. So we need to send the judge a message.
I'm with it.
I agree.
Well, I
It's-
think,
sorry to cut in, but it is not just Judge Hine, it is Judge Mohan also. So,
Well, the judges.
so, yeah,
Yep.
Judge Hine is the driving force.
And I would just remind the people here and the people listening that actions have consequences, and remember this next time you vote.
Well, additionally, you really need to spend some time talking with the county commissioners and the judges themselves, because they're the ones that can make this thing happen. And the city right now doesn't really have a dog in this fight, other than the buildings in the area, and it's right now in compliance with the zoning. So it would need to change some of the zoning.
I have already spoke to the commissioners and it's unfortunately out of their hands as well now. So it's actually in the hands of the city because the commissioners have already given the money. The money is allocated to the courts for this purchase. So he has the money and has intent by the end of the month, beginning April 1st, to purchase the building. So
But the city cannot stop that purchase.
you can't stop the purchase, but you can help stop the intent of the use of the building.
And so obviously this is a much more complicated situation that we've been dealing with for quite some time. And I've looked at this on a legal basis. And so it's my legal opinion, number one, that the state of Ohio through the Supreme Court has regulated what local governments can do in zoning regulations for other political entities. So political entities are exempt from going through the zoning application. Judge Hine is part of the courts, they're the county, they're another political subdivision. So the zoning, the Planning and Zoning Commission actually doesn't have legal authority to regulate that. He still has to come in through compliance with what is the Downtown Entertainment District or the Downtown Enterprise District. One of the acceptable uses of the Downtown Enterprise District is government offices. And so we don't have the authority on the front end to stop him through planning and zoning. In theory, the city could file a lawsuit if his use doesn't comply with what the zoning regulations are. So currently in the Downtown Enterprise District, you've got government offices as an acceptable use. under that, you also have anything that's in Section A of the Neighborhood Business District, which is law offices, professional services, medical services, and ancillary medical services. So if it falls under all of those things, it still fits within our current zoning regulations. And so for the city to stop it, number one, it can't be speculative of what he's going to do. He would put a use in there. He doesn't have to apply for us for zoning permission on the front end. If the city believed that the use wasn't complying then to the districts, and certainly if there was overnight staying, I don't think that that would fall within. At that point in time, we would have standing then to file a lawsuit to try to stop the use. As I've mentioned to kind of everybody I've talked through this process, I think the way to effectuate change in this situation is to go directly to Judge Hine, which I think Mr. Baumgartner's suggesting the council prepare a letter, say that we don't think that this is the right fit for that, is a good step in that direction. But the legal authority, and again, you know, I'm elected to provide my legal opinion to this city and to keep us out of legal issues. At this stage, I don't think that we have standing to do anything. And frankly, moving forward, provided what he's talked about currently, which is using it as meeting space for attorneys with clients and an office space for the probation department, that's going to fit within what we've got in the current downtown enterprise district. So again, this is a much more complex legal situation that we've been working to find solutions to. I think everybody in this room would agree that none of us like that location, but it's not how much we like it. It's do we have the legal authority to do something about it? And that's the difficult part. And even if you don't have legal authority, one of the things that you can do is provide political pressure. And I would encourage everybody to do that.
Good, thank you.
So can we draft a letter?
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's do that.
Now, if the pending sale is April the 1st, this is our last council meeting in March.
Yeah.
So-
Is that when you're closing on it? Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, like they said, you know, we can't stop them from purchasing it, but we can certainly apply the political pressure and made him think about what he's doing to our businesses and to the people that's in Greenville and what they think would be good. And he might want to think twice about this.
Would you, again, I hate to do this, but other people,
No, you're fine.
they can't hear you.
As elected officials, I ask that you take a stance in this and that you approach him. He is also obviously an elected official. And I feel if you feel as strongly as many of us here do, that you would take your, you know, position and take it to him. I mean, legally, maybe there isn't anything that you can do, but, you know, your voices are ours essentially. And, you know, we're asking that you use those, and maybe some type of pressure can be placed on the courts. And it is Judge Monin as well. I do want to make that known that she is also someone that I have spoke to personally. So I ask that you definitely take this into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else wishing to address council on other matters may do so at this time.
Yes, my name is Pete Swissler. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. My name is Pete Swissler. I live at 430 Circle Drive in Greenville. And I wanted to address the city today in regards to the raising of the water rates or potential rate raise increase.
Okay,
Okay. So am I allowed to speak now or?
certainly.
Okay. I'm not sure how this thing works, what
Well,
orders.
that's okay. You're doing fine, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so recently it has been proposed that increasing the water rates for the citizens of Greenville, these rates could potentially have rates raise as much as 3 times what we currently pay. The justification behind such an increase that I have read so far are: 1, the cost to treat water has risen due to the presence of crypto, and that's short terminology for the real name. Older mains in the southern end of town need to be replaced. Additional water storage is needed, at roughly $6 million and prepare for a new water treatment plant 20 to 30 years out at a cost of roughly $30 million. And so I guess my first question is, what is the cost to treat crypto today, and how is that treated? My second question would be is, what is the cost to replace a water main? And how many mains are there in the south end that need to be replaced? And the third question was, when was the last time Greenville needed to utilize 12 hours of storage? A new water treatment plant 20 to 30 years out should be on the radar screen. To dream that $1.5 million will be set aside for 20 to 30 years for this project is like believing the Social Security money that was paid into was going to be there in 20 to 30 years when we all needed it. In 20 to 30 years, there's nobody who's going to be around to remember this meeting took place. Within the last year, we've been faced with COVID-19, and we haven't heard the end of it. Even if that does happen to go away, you can mark my words, our taxes are going to continue to increase as a result of that. Unemployment jumped to an alarming rates. Health costs continue to go up. Prescription drugs have increased. Grocery prices have risen. Price per gallon of gas is going up, and who knows where this is going to ever cap out. Property taxes are going to go up due to the housing assessment, and Social Security is remaining the same. And now you want to raise the water rates potentially 3 times as much? People on fixed incomes are feeling the pain. I do understand that a reasonable increase in our water rates can be expected and reviewed from time to time. This is why we vote for you folks. You must do your homework, have diligence. You have been elected to represent us and not to dictate that the sky is falling. I've just recently gotten involved in this, and I'm really disappointed to hear that, it seems like we have some major issues on our hand that we're faced with. Again, I understand the need to have some increases in our water, but we need to look at this completely differently. Again, looking at a new water plant 20 to 30 years out, that's fine to start discussing about that now, but to start accruing money today would be a travesty. I'm sorry, but I could not fully trust that our government, irregardless of what level, is going to sit on money for the next 20 to 30 years and not touch it. There will be other emergencies come along that'll justify spending that money. And 20 to 30 years, our grandkids are the ones that are going to be faced with that problem. I want to thank you today for allowing me to speak. I want to get to the point and move on. I'm sure there's some other folks out there that may want to speak. Again, thank you for your time and consideration on this matter.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your taking your time to zoom in on us. Anyone else?
President Burkett, this is
Yes.
John Warner, President and CEO of the Brethren Retirement Community.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
President Burkett, council members, Mayor Willman, other members of our city administration, on behalf of Brethren Retirement Community and our nearly 700 residents and staff, I bring you greetings from our campus and thank you for your ongoing service, all of you, to our community. As you are aware, a few weeks back, I spoke with council to share how the water and sewer rate increases would impact Brethren Retirement Community. At that time, we were requested by council to submit our bills to the utility department for review. We did that and want to thank Ryan Delk and Kim at the utility office for their help. The total impact that they calculated for the year was $72,283.24. This includes our main building and both villages. To restate our prior remarks to council, we understand the need for infrastructure improvements and the need for a stable, safe, and efficient water and sewer system. However, a rate increase of this amount in nature was not budgeted in 2021 and comes at a difficult time as we've been impacted by the COVID-19 virus. We respectfully, again, ask, would it be possible for the city to approach the infrastructure needs in a more tempered manner with lesser increases over a longer period of time to allow for a more level budget process, all the while addressing the city's infrastructure concerns? We were encouraged that this matter was tabled at the last council meeting. Our hope was that further reconsideration has taken place. We understand these are difficult decisions to make. We're grateful for the work of the city and for allowing us to share our concerns. Going forward, we will respect whatever decision the council will make. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Warner. Anyone questions or comments, or anyone else want to address council may do so. Seeing no one showing up on Zoom presently or in the audience, I will move the agenda and go on to administrative reports, beginning with Mayor Wellman.
Yeah, I think I'll just.
Thank
have
you all
one-
for your attendance. You don't have to leave.
See you later.
Oh,
Bye, Daryl.
okay.
Okay, thank you. I think to move along, I'll pass.
Okay.
So don't piss anybody off.
Obvious that, it's obvious. Nobody wanted to hear what you had to say anyway.
That's the first time I've seen
There
the
you go.
clerk pro tem smile like that. Okay, what,
To elect me as pro tem too.
pardon?
You forgot to appoint me as pro tem too.
Oh,
Yeah, that's okay.
well, I so declare you as
Okay, thanks.
clerk pro tem.
I thought I heard you say that.
Yes. it
He
was
said that
right at the very beginning,
Mhm.
just before the pledge.
Right.
Safety Service Director, Mr. Delk.
Thank you, Mr. President. That's a hard one to follow there. I'll do my best. A few things we have going. We'd like to welcome 2 new patrol officers to the police force. Both are female, Christian Mercado and Shelby Manson. The mayor swore them in yesterday. So we're glad to have them. They have a lot of training in their future to get prepared to be on the road, but it gets us one step closer to having a full police force. We're still short 1 after this one, so it fills the void big time. We just need to get them trained. Second, so earlier at Planning and Zoning Commission, a couple things were approved. One, the Speedway, Northtown Speedway, has plans of coming in June 8th and shutting down their speedway, tearing their building, tanks, everything down and rebuilding from the ground up. They're expected for that process to take 4 months. So there will be no Northtown Speedway for the entire summer. Second, Jaffe, we approved an addition for them. So Jaffe is undergoing a major addition. I know you guys, council helped them get a CRA, so we much appreciated. They appreciated it. They've been great to work with from the fire department standpoint and planning and zoning and working through many of issues. And now they're pretty much ready to go. Some projects we currently have going in the city, the South Park restrooms and splash pad. So Archon Builders is currently working on the restroom renovations. This week, they're going to start moving outside to the actual splash pad site work. So they are right on schedule as far as that goes. We still plan on having that open Memorial Day weekend here of 2021. And then we have the UV project started down at the wastewater treatment plant. And last but not least, to lighten the mood a little, on Friday night, we had someone cut the locks at our PFAL pen in the park, and we had approximately 7 PFAL on the loose. We have caught all but one that we have not been able to find. So it was quite an adventurous weekend chasing PFAL around the park. It's still vandalism. It's still it cost a lot of money to call people in to chase them, but most people did find it quite funny. I'm sure there's some videos out there of some street workers chasing them that we would all like to see.
Have they caught the people that done it?
No. We'll see.
But please, if anybody has any tips, report them to the Greenville Police Department.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And with that, I will pass.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Ryan, there's a lot of questions about the splash pad, is how it's being paid for. Can you expound on that?
Absolutely. So half of the funding was donated by Wayne Healthcare. We also received a $275,000 Odnr Land and Water Conservation Grant that is actually a what's the word I'm looking for, Ms. Auditor? Reimbursable grant. Yes, sorry. So that we pay that up front and then we pay that off. So the splash pad itself is going to cost the city approximately $50,000. That splash pad, building renovations, new restrooms, state of the art lighting, everything, parking lot, curb, sidewalks, landscaping, you name it.
Out of that, we pay 50, but what's the total?
575.
Okay. Thank you. Further questions?
It's gonna be a beautiful addition to the south end. I was on the park board when we were heading that up, and it was kind of a no-brainer for what it costs the city. And it's developing that whole block basically will be developed. So it's going to be beautiful when it's done.
And a nice amenity for everyone down in that end of town.
Okay, moving on. Law Director, Mr. Raymond.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Just a few quick items this evening. I think I alerted council at last meeting that the city was named in a lawsuit relating to a patron that got injured on a private sewage manhole cover. We have filed an answer in that, so just to keep you updated on that process. I also want to let you know about our nuisance properties. This Friday at Sheriff Sale, one of our problem properties is coming up for a tax sale. If you know anybody that's looking for a fixer-upper, we would be happy to get some of these properties turned over into the appropriate hands. Speaking of downtown and downtown revitalization, the movie theater will be up for sale again this Friday. So, we can kind of push these things to try to get them turned over, but we still need them to be purchased to be redeveloped. So if you got somebody looking for a project, make sure you send them to the courthouse Friday morning. And then last but not least, there's a lot of discussion earlier about Judge Hine and the courts and Judge Mon and the use of the building. We're looking at options. This is something that's taken up a lot of time for myself, Mr. Delk, Dennis Aislinger with planning and zoning. It's certainly something that we're not dismissive of. We're trying to find solutions, but at the same time, we have an obligation to represent the best interest of the city and make sure that we're not digging a hole deeper or getting the city involved in litigation that we're going to lose. So we'll continue to look at it and monitor the situation, but we are working on it.
Okay.
And that's all, unless anybody has questions.
Thank you. And City Auditor, Mrs. Woman.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I wanted to update council. I've been planning on doing this for a couple of months, and there just been things coming up constantly. So I didn't get around to it till right now, but I wanted to update council regarding the city's investment program. A little over a year ago, we passed legislation to hire Meter Investment Management as our investment managers. The investment program has been doing quite well since then. They have gradually been increasing the city's longer-term portfolio holdings, and we currently have $13,776,000 invested with a weighted average yield of 1.04% and an annual income of $115,620. And we plan to continue to increase our holdings in that as we are able to do so. But we are also keeping some short-term funds in our local banks. Currently, we have a total of 4.5 million in our local banks. So, but like I said, the program is working quite well. And I know 1.04% doesn't sound like a whole lot, but we just reinvested in a short-term locally. And Kim, you said what was 0.1%?
0.1.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
this program is doing a lot better than what we could hope to get locally. So I also am sure you've all heard about the federal government having passed another stimulus package. And there will be another substantial distribution of funds to local governments. I don't know as yet what the exact amount we will receive or what projects we can use the funds for. It has been speculated that the funds may be used for infrastructure projects. I guess that remains to be seen. I was asked recently if those funds could be used toward the water projects that were needed. The answer to that is no, basically because they are enterprise funds and they are to be self-sustaining. So with that, unless anybody has any questions, I pass.
Thanks for saying that, Roxanne. I know a lot of people are asking those
Right,
types of questions.
Right.
Yeah. The city's budget is, we have, of course, the general fund, which constitute a large percentage of our total expenditures annually. But there are, as she mentioned, enterprise funds, which are very strictly controlled by the Ohio Revised Code. It isn't something that we're forced to control. And we can only spend certain monies from certain places. And so that sometimes, doesn't fit well with like, well, gee, you got money in the checkbook, you ought to run out and spend it. So it doesn't quite work that way with city government. Anyway, thank you very much. I appreciate that update. Under committee reports, we have nothing, but I had a conversation earlier this evening with Deputy Auditor and our Clerk Pro Tem regarding an issue that, may I
Yes.
look at that?
This first one.
Huh?
That's not the first one.
The first one.
Yeah. It was originally assigned October.
Yeah,
20.
under the Planning, Zoning, and Governmental Relations, which Mrs. Howdyshaw was the chairperson of that committee. And without wanting to, or without upsetting the apple cart even further and reconfiguring all of the committees, I asked, and I think she agreed, Mrs. Ely, if she would take the position on the committee level that Mrs. Howdyshaw had occupied, and she had said that she would. Well, I had made an assignment in October regarding, assigned, the 20th of October. And the due date was November of 20. And of course, that's since passed, and Mrs. Howdyshaw became ill and passed. But it's expanding the DORA, which is the Designated Outdoor Recreation or Refreshment Area, I'll get it right, to include downtown parks, and i.e. the Annie Oakley Park and the YOLO Park. Now, there was some consideration or concern about the Rotary Park here, but does the city own that?
The city owns it, but it was never designated a park.
Okay,
It's city property. It was just, people just started calling it Rotary Park.
okay, because they contributed some money to
a
enhance
bench,
it.
yes.
Okay, okay.
And if I recall correctly, the committee had met on that and discussed it and had asked to table it to the spring because Dora was so new.
Right. So with that, I would reassign that to Mrs. Ely and the committee, and that committee is zoning, planning, and governmental relations would be Mr. Godwin, and Mr. Schmidt is the member. Mr. Godwin's vice chair and Mr. Schmidt's member. To review that, I'll send that back to you.
What would you like the due date to be?
And just for clarification, when we had talked about this before, because the situation was so new and there wasn't a pressing issue to include the parks, I think the hope was to kind of push this back so we could see how things went at the beginning of summer.
Right.
So there's no rush in the due date in terms of 30 days. I think if it was pushed out to midsummer, that'd be sufficient. So we have an opportunity to see how downtown's going to work.
Okay. And so how about the second meeting in July?
I think that would be perfect.
Okay. Now, as I often remind, if you are able to put together have a meeting and put together the report and it comes out early, that's fine. It doesn't have to wait until that date. And then also, if things aren't working well by that date, you can ask for an extension on the item as well. So that's how we handle that. Now, moving on, we go into our ordinances and resolutions. Excuse me. Do you have any question, Mrs. Healy?
I do not. That was one of my questions because I was going through the paperwork of my little book here and I saw that and I got the original ordinance. So I'll take care of calling a meeting and we'll get her done.
Okay, thank you. Under ordinance and resolutions, we have number one, a resolution authorizing Safety Service Director to enter an agreement to purchase a truck to be used by the Water Department, was given its first and second readings.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter an agreement to purchase a truck to be used by the Water Department was given the first and second readings. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to enter into an agreement to purchase a Ford F-250 to be used by the water plant.
Move to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to adopt the resolution. Discussion?
Yeah, Ryan, could you tell me when was this first budgeted for?
Yeah, okay. So this was already approved in the 2021 budget. I believe it was actually in the 2020 budget even before I came on board, but just because of COVID and things got pushed around, it was never purchased. So one thing that, believe it or not, I've been in this position, I guess, a year since we've been shut down for a year, but I'm still learning every day, every minute. And one of the things that I wanted to do was, even though something got approved in a budget of an enterprise fund for transparency, I wanted to, anything over 25,000 that would be a capital expenditure, I wanted legislation to come to council so everybody knew what was going on. There was no surprises. So with this particular truck, trucks are extremely hard to come by. Next we have our CIP on our next piece of agenda. And I think that if we get that approved tonight, we're going to really struggle with getting cruisers and trucks. A lot of them in town won't even take orders for 2021s or 2022s right now. They're like, we're maxed out. Dave Knapp Ford actually found us this truck and still is holding it pending tonight's, but they wouldn't have any problem selling it. Does that answer your question?
So
Yeah.
Ryan, is this a replacement truck or is this adding to the fleet?
No, this is adding to the fleet.
Okay. Further questions? Okay, we have a motion to adopt the resolution. Call the roll, please.
Rogers,
No.
Whitaker,
Yeah.
Wright,
No.
Baumgartner,
No.
Ely,
No.
Godwin,
No.
Motion is defeated, 5-1. Okay, next we have a supplemental appropriations ordinance.
an ordinance to make additional appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Greenville, state of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2021. This supplemental ordinance allows for the appropriations in the general and the CIP fund and the sums as follows. CIP transfers to elected auditor treasurer in the amount of $2,259,147. These funds are needed for transfer to the CIP fund for the 2021 equipment and infrastructure projects. Equipment maintenance, police department in the amount of $2,729.66. These funds are needed for a police cruiser repair and were reimbursed by the insurance company. Police new equipment CIP in the amount of $87,000. Fire new equipment CIP in the amount of $202,697. Street new equipment CIP in the amount of $485,450. Roadway enhancement CIP in the amount of $1,484,000. These funds are needed for the 2021 CIP equipment and infrastructure projects.
Move to suspend the rules and give this ordinance a second and third reading by title only.
Excuse me. Motion by Mr. Whitaker to suspend the rules and read the ordinance by title second and third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Greenville, state of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2021. An ordinance to make additional appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Greenville, state of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2021.
Move to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Baumgartner to adopt the ordinance. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Next, we have a resolution authorizing financial assistance in support of the endeavors of community-based entities.
A resolution authorizing the financial assistance in support of endeavors and pursuits of certain community-based entities. This resolution authorizes financial assistance to the community-based entities as follows. Dark County Visitors Bureau, $16,700. Main Street Greenville, $16,700. Dark County Horseshoe Ohio State Tournament, $1,500. Dark County Ringer Classic Tournament, $1,500. Community Event Appropriation, $12,000. Yellow of Dark County, $3,000. Fireworks Reserve, $10,000. And Union Cemetery, $5,000.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this resolution and read it by title only, second and third time.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, read the resolution by title second and third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
A resolution authorizing financial assistance in the support of the endeavors and pursuits of the city community-based entities. A resolution authorizing financial assistance in the support of the endeavors and pursuits of the certain community-based entities.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to adopt the resolution. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Next, we have a resolution amending resolution amending the credit card usage policy and declaring an emergency.
A resolution amending and replacing the credit card policy and declaring an emergency. This resolution amends and replaces the credit card policy in an effort to make processes and procedures relating to the credit card uses for the city business clear to the city and the public. The resolution has an emergency clause.
Move to suspend the rules, give this resolution second and third reading by title only.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules and read the resolution by title second and third time. Discussion. Call the roll.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
A resolution amending and replacing the credit card policy and declaring an emergency. A resolution amending and replacing the credit card policy and declaring an emergency.
Move to adopt the emergency clause.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to adopt the emergency clause. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Move to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to adopt the resolution. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Okay, next we have a resolution approving a memorandum of understanding with the Greenville Professional Firefighters Association, IAF, and to contract with Brian Hathaway for ECO services and declaring an emergency.
A resolution to approve a memorandum of understanding with Greenville Professional Firefighters Association, IAF, and a contract with Brian Hathaway for ECO services and declaring an emergency. This resolution approves a memorandum of understanding with the Greenville Professional Firefighters Association, IAF, and a contract with Brian Hathaway from Emergency Communication Operator Service. This resolution has an emergency clause.
Move to suspend the rules and give this resolution its second and third reading by title only.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to suspend the rules, read the resolution by title, second, third time. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
A resolution to approve a memorandum of understanding with the Greenville Professional Firefighters Association, IAF, and a contract with Brian Hathaway for ECO services and declaring an emergency. A resolution to approve a memorandum of understanding with the Greenville Professional Firefighters Association, IAF, and a contract with Brian Hathaway for ECO services and declaring an emergency.
Move to adopt the emergency clause.
Motion by Mr. Baumgartner to adopt the emergency clause. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Move to adopt.
Is that you?
Yes.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Baumgartner to adopt the resolution. Discussion?
Can I ask what this is?
Yes. So this ECO are under the fire union, but they're dispatchers over at the PD. So we currently have one brand new one that we're training, and then we have two of them that are going to be on medical leave. So this is just a backup plan.
Okay.
So it's a temporary thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Further discussion? Okay, the motion is to adopt, correct?
Yes.
All right. Call the roll, please.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Wright. Baumgartner,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Okay. And next, we have an ordinance increasing the number of street openings to be permitted in connection with the 2021 Veteran Energy Delivery Gas Lateral Replacement Project. Woo. Mouthful.
An ordinance increasing the number of street openings to be permitted and reducing the amount of the guarantee bond to be required in the connection with a 2021 Veteran Energy Delivery Gas Lateral Replacement Project. This ordinance increases the number of street openings to be permitted in connection with the 2021 Veteran Delivery Gas Lateral Replacement Project.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this ordinance and read it by title only, second and third time.
Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules and read the resolution by title, second and third time. Discussion? Call the roll.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
An ordinance increasing the number of Street openings to be permitted and reducing the amount of the guarantee bond to be required in connection with the 2021 Veteran Energy Delivery Gas Lateral Replacement Project. An ordinance increasing the number of street openings to be permitted and reducing the amount of the guarantee bond to be required in connection with the 2021 Veteran Energy Delivery Gas Lateral Replacement Project.
Move to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Baumgartner to adopt the ordinance. Discussion? Call the roll.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Next, we have a resolution to approve the contract for a leaf, limb, and brush disposal.
A resolution to approve a contract for leaf, limb, and brush disposal. This resolution approves a contract with Fitzwater Tree and Lawn Care for leaf, limb, and brush disposal.
Move to suspend the rules and give this resolution second and third reading by title only.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules and read the resolution by title second and third time. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
A resolution to approve a contract for leaf, limb, and brush disposal. A resolution to approve a contract for leaf, limb, and brush disposal.
Move to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to adopt the resolution. Discussion?
Question. What do you mean by removal?
So we currently have a brush and leaf pickup. So in the fall, we go around with the truck, suck up the leaves. And then April to October, by call-in, we go pick up brush piles. And this is where we dispose of it.
At their facility?
Correct.
Okay, out there on 49?
Correct.
Okay,
And then they use it, they mulch it up and use it.
Turn it into compost.
okay.
We've been doing this for as long as I can.
About 10 years, I think, 9 or 10 years.
What did we do prior?
Took it to a different facility out on 571.
Fresh Air
Thank you.
Farms, wasn't it?
Fresh Air Farms, yeah, clear out by Union City. So the drive was the big reason, was the travel time.
Further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
And next, we have an ordinance to providing for the issuance of not to exceed $800,000 salt barn construction bonds and declaring an emergency.
An ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed $800,000 salt barn construction bonds and declaring an emergency. This ordinance provides issuance of a not to exceed $800,000 salt barn construction bonds. Under the authority of the general laws of the state of Ohio, this ordinance has an emergency clause.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this ordinance and read it by title only, second and third time.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title, second and third time. Discussion? Call the roll.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
An ordinance providing the issuance of not to exceed $800,000 salt barn construction bonds and declaring an emergency. An ordinance providing for the issuance of a not to exceed $800,000 salt barn construction bonds and declaring an emergency.
Move to adopt the emergency clause.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to adopt the emergency clause. Discussion? Call the roll.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Move to adopt.
I didn't give it two readings.
Didn't, you need to do the other readings, right?
Oh, yeah, never mind.
Yeah, I should have done it before now. That's fine. Did I read that twice? I did, didn't I?
Because then we did the emergency clause.
Yes,
Yeah.
now we're ready to adopt. You're right. We're good.
All right. Move to
Your
adopt.
motion was to adopt, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Got a little behind there myself. Discussion on adoption?
Yeah.
Call the roll, please.
Rogers,
No.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Motion carries 5-1. And finally, a resolution authorizing the disposition of no longer needed motor vehicle.
a resolution authorizing the disposition of a no longer needed motor vehicle. The resolution authorizes the city to transfer a 2008 Ford LTV from the Transit Department to be used by the Water Department.
Move to suspend the rules and give this resolution second and third reading by title only.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to suspend the rules, read the resolution by title, second and third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the deposition of a no longer needed motor vehicle. A resolution authorizing that's what it says on here, disposal of a no longer needed motor vehicle.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to adopt the resolution. Discussion.
So what is this vehicle being used for?
Right now, it's at the transit, and then it's going to be donated to the water department for use in the distribution for a backup and for additional parts. Like when I got on a water break, the cabs make it nice because it's heated inside, a place for them to get out of the weather and warm up after a water break and
The
keep all the
street,
parts and pieces.
the street department's using one also, right?
The street department has two. They get them any chance they get. They're just nice vehicles to use for. They have one now that we converted for our camera, our sewer camera, and then another one that we use like for electrical and out in the park. And there again, haul tools and kind of a shop on wheels, if you may.
So this does not cost the water department nothing. It's transferred.
Correct. It was originally purchased by ODOT through transit, and it's just a transfer.
Okay.
Further discussion? Okay, the motion is to adopt, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, call the roll, please.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
No.
Motion carries 5-1.
Yeah, it'd be different.
All right. That concludes our ordinances and resolutions for this evening. We have one item under new business, not no business, new business. Division of Liquor Control application for Swigantum Hospitality doing business as Holiday Inn Express, 1185 Russ Road, Greenville, Ohio.
And I have a letter here from the chief
Okay,
to Greenville City Council members from Chief Eric Roberts regarding the Holiday Inn Express liquor permit dated March 5th, 2021. I have reviewed the application from the Ohio Division of Liquor Control for Swagadum Hospitality Holiday Inn Express located at 1195 Russ Road, Greenville, Ohio. I did not find any records in the house computer system that would prohibit the permit being issued. Signed, Chief Eric Roberts.
okay, so council's options are to either request a hearing on this issue or to not request a hearing.
I move to not request a hearing.
Motion by Mr. Baumgartner not to request the hearing. Discussion? Call a roll, please.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Voting yes, not to.
Is that kind of
dichotomy
I
there.
thought the same thing.
Okay. Now, under old business, we have an ordinance amending the water rates or certain rates and ordinance pertaining to relating to water and sewer fees and utilities building, and was given its third reading by title and summary and was tabled on March the 2nd, 2021 council meeting.
I'd like to move to take this off the table.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to remove this from the table for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Rogers,
This is just to take it off the table.
take it off the
Yes.
table.
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
No.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
No.
Okay, motion passes 4-2. So it is lifted from the table. Now we have a period of discussion.
I think that we've heard sufficient word from the public regarding their views on the stress that the what new water rates would put on them. And, I think that this was good to take it off the table just to be talking about it and what we might be able to do to alleviate the concern out there. And I think most of the people that I've heard from and that have called in have pretty much expressed their agreement with the infrastructure needing to be repaired and updated. My concern is always, we need to do two things. We need to upgrade that main water line. Number one, that's been in the ground since the 1890s. And number two, we need to upgrade our capacity for water storage. The EPA is making us do that too, right? I mean, it's not something that's on our wish list. We need to have 24 hours of storage, right?
So the EPA doesn't recognize you of having any storage unless you have at least 24 hours.
Well, then there you go. So we need to alleviate that. But at the same token, I can certainly work with something that's going to stretch us out a little bit. Maybe go, I'm just throwing this out there, just throwing ideas out there. Instead of 50% right now and the increase in the sewer rates as well, going to maybe like 25% for the next 3 years, and then looking at it every year after that for a minimal increase. I don't know, but we need to do something. We just can't kick this can down the road forever. And if something happens, we're in trouble.
You're right. We need to do something.
Yeah. But I mean,
Because the man sitting back there has got a serious problem.
right. And we need to extend the sewer rates out too. Maybe cut that rate down to maybe 10, 12, 15% for the next 3 years. But we got to get this thing moving at least. We can't let this just go undone.
Can I interject?
No, this is not, this is council's discussion, sir.
I apologize.
That's all right. Any other members of council? Now, the original motion was to adopt the ordinance, and then it was tabled, which takes precedent over the motion to adopt. So now we're back to the original motion, which is to adopt the ordinance. Right. If there's any further discussion or no further discussion, we call the roll.
Rogers,
No.
Whitaker,
No.
Wright,
No.
Baumgartner,
Nope.
Ely,
No.
Godwin.
No.
Okay, the motion is defeated, 6-1 or 6-0. All right, now, it's on, Mr. Mayor. You had sent me a letter back on September the 30th of 2020, requesting committee assignment to review water rates and water rates for the present, from the presentation to City Council by Gary Evans and Don Knife. And you have requested that, so on and so forth. So now we're back to kind of like square one, but something needs to be come up with or whatever. My original thought in discussing with some council members on the issue, they had contacted me, was that if we try to amend the motion as it was, would be, unless you had something really, really well thought out, would be more of a piecemeal. So I guess I would assign this back to the utility committee and ask them to come up with a different rate of increase, if that's what they choose to do. And ask the utility committee to have this back to council by, what are we looking at here? This is,
The next meeting's on the 6th.
yeah, it'll be April the 6th.
I'm going next week.
Could you have first meeting in May? I'll ask first meeting in May. Whether it needs to be modified, whatever, but the sooner we get this thing happening, or at least some support for the water and sewer system, additional support, I think we're taking chances. So that concludes our old business. Items of communications. What
We
do we have?
received the monthly report of February from the Fire and Transit Departments.
Okay. If that another one, no other people have matters of communications, we will call down the council, please.
Rogers?
Yes, I would like to thank the people that was up here in person and expressed their views on the downtown situation, and also like to thank all the ones that was on Zoom and made some comments there too. And maybe that'll help us to make a different decision that we can all live with maybe. So thanks everybody for attending. I pass.
Whitaker?
I want to welcome the two new officers, Mercado and Manson. Want to thank them for their willingness to come aboard and serve our city as police officers, and we wish them Godspeed and safety in doing so. For all the people that came out tonight in their expression of their concern for the Chills building, that's going to be an interesting thing, but I think we as a council need to support that and express our concern about to Judge Hines and Judge Monin, like we had mentioned earlier in doing so. Also want to thank everyone who's weighed in on the water rates. Your concerns are legitimate. I mean, with COVID and everything, but we as council need to balance out what really needs to be done. And I know that there's maybe some belief out there that nothing needs to be done. I'll take exception to that, but we need to address this and get it done. With that, I pass.
Right?
I'll pass.
Baumgartner?
Pass.
Ely?
I just want to add to the fact that, we all face tough decisions every day. And I think that the move to hear what was said, to reevaluate, but the bottom line is something needs to be done. And so the committee that's meeting, I encourage you to, practice due diligence, but also it's a time factor. So thank you, and I pass.
Godwin?
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for coming up here today, and nobody's really here anymore, but thanks to people that zoomed in, and glad to see people back here tonight. I'd like to make a motion to excuse the absences for this month also.
I would accept that. Motion by Mr. Godwin to excuse the absences for the month of March. Discussion? Put you off guard there.
That's okay, I'm good.
Call the roll, please.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes. And with that, nicer weather's coming, so people watch out for motorcycles and people walking. And with that, I'll pass.
President Burkett?
Just, it was good having people present tonight as well as on Zoom. Again, that's another avenue that we'll probably keep with us for quite some time in this electronic age. But we will try to keep that going, and people's attendance and concerns are heard by this council and always have been. But as many of you have already said, some tough decisions have to be made sometimes. So with that, I would entertain the motion that we rise to executive session for the purpose of discussing items under Ohio Revised Code 12122G4. And we will take the
Me, the deputy.
deputy auditor with us and all the administration. So do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Baumgartner, rise to executive session.